As we get into this evening's live, we have to once again talk about the warning signs of what could potentially be coming if this market continues down just a little bit farther here. It could signal a better than 15% sell-off, as to me it appears that Bitcoin still must, in most cases, I know it could stop at 100K. We can talk about micro levels, but I believe that Bitcoin is in fact forming this inverse, or at least trying to form this inverse head and shoulders, which means this inverse right shoulder would have to try to be formed. And right now we're falling short of being able to push past and have a volatile spike here. So we have to start watching closer and closer. The urgency becomes greater and greater the longer it takes to be able to break out of these ranges. So once again, the longer it takes for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, especially for Ethereum to come up and break over this rising wedge, it's something we really need to happen. And Bitcoin, or I mean Ethereum right now, has been acting more as like, what's the best way to put it? It's kind of like it's leading the way, but it's basically like the end all be all right now, and it's continuously failing to get over that 2,620 and show any kind of strength. More than just that, we've had a lot of failed attempts up here at not just Ethereum, but also at Bitcoin. XRP's had the same movement. A lot of the ones that we've looked at have had this same movement. Some rising wedges had formed. And we're going to get into this pretty hot and heavy. I don't know how many people are going to be here. I've been pretty hidden today. A lot of people messaged me earlier and were complaining that I didn't put my update out and share it. I did in fact share it. It didn't even get shared to my my tablet when I shared it on my phone. So like none of my other profiles I seen it on, so I had to seek it out. So sometimes that happens, but that's a great reason to be part of Tom's Army, or be part of the Telegram, so you can see when I post the content, and then you don't have to worry about YouTube giving you it. It'll be a great reason why, you know, you'll join the website when it gets done at XRPfuturemillionaire.com. It's about 48 hours away, and I'm actually creating a section that I didn't expect to create, just in case something happens to me here on YouTube. I'll be able to continue the lives on XRPfuturemillionaire.com, and that's very important to me. So I'm having them add that section so that I can go live on the website as well. So if anything ever happens to me on YouTube, if they ban me, because I did get a warning. I don't have a strike. They gave a warning, but the next one would be a strike and a 1-week ban for a video from 2024 in February. So this is good timing. So just in case something happens, you know, I'll have the capabilities of going live on my actual website. So you don't have to just rely on YouTube. You'll be able to find me, but I'll have more details in the next 48 to 72 hours. So by the end of the week, into the weekend, I'm hoping the website's ready. I've dropped, for 5 years of web hosting, it costs $2,700 because I want the dedicated server, so it's lightning quick, just like if you're going to an official Google page or wherever. And just the innovation within it, I've probably spent about close to $4,000 on all of this. So that, I want to thank everybody for being part of Tom's Army. As you see, many members in here already that are part of Tom's Army. The ones who send YouTube super chats and the ones who just watch the videos and allow me to gain ad revenue for YouTube sharing the videos and people watching it. It's allowed me to innovate what I'm doing, and I'm going to try to make a place for all of us so that we can continue to grow and prosper together. It's not about abundance for one, it's abundance for all. So that's my philosophy. So the best way is to keep us closer and more engaged. So hopefully you follow my way, you understand what I'm trying to teach, realize I'm not a financial advisor, and I can show you what to do, but I can't actually make you do it. So I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you jump in to clean yourself off. I can show you how to fish, but I can't actually make you cast the rod. I can teach you how to farm, but I can't make you plant the seed or water the flower or tend to the, you know, the fruit, so to say. So with that being said, good evening, Trading with J Ride, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Wait a minute, no. 3 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Or Diamond Hands Badge. I don't know why I said Moon Badge. I seen it, so, oh, Tanya, I seen it on there. It was confusing myself. But thank you, Jay Riot. 3 years plus with the XRP Diamond Hands Badge. Mark Cass and UK Phil, thank you both for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Love it. Define Group, Frankie Fresh, Crypto Cooter, thank you all three of you for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Tanya May, welcome in, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. What a crazy, beautiful, and supporting, a crazy supportive audience is what I should say. We're not crazy, well, I guess we're all crazy in our own way. Tadaz, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands Badge. Moza here, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Keith Morgan, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Define Coop says, Tom, I haven't missed a live or update since you started posting the link on Telegram. The beauty is I've been doing that for years. It's just some people started realizing it, and the fact that I put the Telegram open again, but I always would post it in there regardless. So it's just a way for everybody to see it. Let's just look at the key fact today for XRP. It said XRP crossed the 50%. What did that say? I didn't mean to click on it. Overview. Key fact today. Oh, I missed it. It did say it crossed the 50% retracement level. But anyhow, we'll look at our charts. We'll look at XRP as it's coming close to that $2. And this could be considered the Mendoza line, as it's getting close to that $2.16 area, which would be pretty catastrophic only because there's nothing to support us after that until we fall through. Actually, it's at $2.15 in real time, roughly. But I think, this is where we're going to have to make a decision. Are we going to come down here at worst to like 214 area? Or are we going to bounce off of here? Or do we just end up playing it down and then we fade? If these patterns fade, as I don't want them to, but as I fear they could, that means you could fade down to that $1.50 fair value gap. You could also come down to that $1.98, which would be a retest of the distribution box right here. And I got to go take something out of the oven for Julie. I promised her at 5:10. I will be right back. I promise. I apologize. Julie, I took it out of the oven at 5:10. So this is what I'm what's going on. So let me keep saying hi to everybody. Let's see. Mario Louise Willamese, welcome in, friend. Love that name. Love it so much, and I'm glad you're still a part of this audience. Lonzo Turner, XRP won't stop explaining it's only gonna get way bigger. I highly doubt we break under the $1.90-ish range. Great buying opportunity for Dubai. Absolutely. Hope you're enjoying the new kitchen, Tom. Loving it. We really do love the new kitchen. We have little issues with some of the work throughout the house that they got to come back next week for, but it is what it is. But in the kitchen, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, so I can't complain. So for everybody who's here, let's just look at it this way. So right now, XRP has this distribution box, and this is where we've kind of bounced out of. These are our supply zones, demand zones. We'll have our discovery. We'll have distribution, which we're trying to still hold. We've never been in between. We've never got stuck in between in consolidation. In the weekly time frames, they leave a lot to be desired because we haven't been able to make any noise, and there's 4 days and 3 hours left. So we've been about 3 full days now, and we have not been able to make a single bit of noise here in the weekly. And we could very well retest the distribution box. It's right about 198 to 202, depending on, where you wanted to push this down. And I could argue that this should be at $1.98, but I put it up a little bit higher. But I could argue that it should go down a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. The supply zone is absolutely in the wrong spot. I must have pushed this up on accident. Right about here, because we were only slightly up from supply 2, and supply 2 was up a little bit from supply box 1. So if you're new, this would be a good way to see how we've broken from level to level, and then see if we're even. I think we're still in a second wave, or we're trying to push into a third wave. I know some are saying we're going into a fifth wave, but I could argue that in the micro and the macro, we could be heading into a third wave. And if that's the case, or we aren't at the start of a third, if that's the case, you know, we've got some parabolic spikes. If it's an all-time 5 wave, which I have it in the A, B, C, D, E, just so that we don't have 2 with 5, you know, from 1 to 5. But if we do something like that, it's pretty crazy. It would be pretty crazy if I'm being honest, because actually, you know what? I'll probably put that in yellow. No, I like it in white. But that would be pretty crazy, because then that's how you break into double digits much quicker. Because I started studying this, like, all right, what if the first wave was just from the bottom to the top and you just go all the way, and then the second corrective was just all the way down to where you see B at, and then it pushes into a third, which means it's this whole thing is just a third wave right now. And if you start looking at it like that, it's pretty insane. But if you say it went into an ABC correction and then it went into a new 5 wave, I could argue that we went up to 1 wave and the big move up from November up to the high that we hit in 25 or late 24. And then I could argue that wave 2 corrective is still underway until we get confirmation. So that could bring us all the way down like I'm showing, just in a wave 2, and then it would just start to go bonkers. Even in this scenario, you would still get 550 plus. But in the other scenario, you could be talking $11 plus. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things. But in December, I had the video where I talked about selling 75% of my positions and switching to gold and silver and commodity, well, for mining stocks. But that's because we hit a local top, and until we fill this out, I still feel like Bitcoin needs to come down to that 90K area possibly. I think that we can avoid this if we could just break out here. But right now, Bitcoin's showing pretty much a weekly reversal here. Like, this is turning into a weekly. Let me get some of this out of the way. But this is absolutely unequivocally turning into a weekly reversal. But we'll see how it plays out. But that's not exactly the strongest looking candle, but it could find itself in a rather interesting spot here. We'll see, because there's still a long time left in this weekly. But with that said, good evening. 5:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. All right, let's say hi to everybody else that I seen come in. Oh, excuse me. Lonzo, good evening. We could get locked sideways, range bound. Absolutely. We're in no man's land right now. We're in no man's land. The Gatman, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being a very trusted mod and also in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Hello, people. Hello, Tom. Everyone hit that like button to show your support for Tom and his awesome technical analysis. Thank you so much for that, Jorge. I appreciate that so very much. Prism, yes, it may have been the top, my friend. It might have, at least the local. It's not the all-time top, but it definitely could be. That double top at 265 as well looked like a nice spot for an arm there, like a right arm. Jay Frimix, welcome in. Aaron, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Grant says, hi, Tom and family. Hope you're all well. We're doing pretty good today. We can't complain today. Every day brings its own challenges, but our son's doing good today. He had a great day at school. He just got his final feeding of the night. So everything's going pretty good. He might fall asleep a little earlier tonight. He's a little tired. They were outside at school. It's been a little hot. Yeah, he's been doing good, though. He's been doing good. Thank you, Grant. I appreciate that. Chad, good evening. Chad Somerfield, good evening, my friend. I love seeing everybody in here. I really do. Before we go any farther on the charts, just remember, we've got an amazing and an incredible opportunity here by being together and being in the same mind frame, the same fundamental mindset, with the mind, kind of the understanding that we have to have some humility. We have to show honor, decency. We want to stay humble. We want to show humility at all times. We want to be helpful, not hurtful if it's your first time here. We want to be kind, not rude. We want to be positive, not negative, because we are the winners here in a world filled with victims. We are not a victim. We never have been. We never will be. We are the winners. And by being winners, by virtue, we're going to have all the information from news to the charts to the economical poll to the Federal Reserve, to the central banks, to the presidents, to the yada, yada, yada. But you have to have it all. And most of the time, the good news is by understanding the charts, they won't tell you this, most people. But the truth is the charts dictate the news, not the other way around. So when a big moment on the news is about to happen, you'll see it building in the charts. And then people will say, oh, look what happened. The news came and look what happened to the price. It finally moved. When you can watch on the charts that it's been consolidating, it was just getting ready either way. And because of that magical touch, both ends met, and it was the perfect storm for a nice run up. Right now, the European Central Bank is going to be announcing rate hikes or rate cuts at any moment. I think it's in their AM. They've cut rates like, 7 or 9 times now. I'd be surprised if they didn't do it again. And I think the U.S., the Federal Reserve, which is our central bank. So when you hear Jerome Powell, he's speaking for the U.S.'s central bank. Those are the ones who are in control. So, you can forget everything else about politics. Our central bank is the Fed. And I'm not saying anything that's bad that'll get us banned. I'm just saying, if you want to understand and follow what's going on, they want you to know that they're the ones who you should listen to. They're the ones who have the power. And I think they respect. I think the central banks and the powers that be respect the simple minds that can understand and follow the breadcrumbs. I think they respect that. They don't much care for us, but they at least give us the breadcrumbs where we can succeed. And I think that earns respect amongst the elite. The small guy, the little guy who finds a way that couldn't. There's no reason why, but we find that way. Or we have enough knowledge to understand what maybe they needed money to buy. We did it with wisdom, and that's something to be respected. So if you can find the honorable way, and I think we can do that together. I think what we know on the charts, I think what we know with commodities and precious metals, mining stocks, the oil sector, I think what we know with emerging markets and the devaluation of the dollar and just the ways that we can bet against the US dollar and things like that, I think we know enough to where we're going to get fundamentally ahead, and that's why we're experiencing an upturn when many of our constituents are experiencing a major downturn. There's nothing more humbling and also more invigorating, but at the same time more defeating than being independently successful and watching my peers around me sink. Or seeing that I've never been in a fundamentally better spot, but seeing that most of my neighbors have never been in a worse. Understanding that most people that drive a brand new car, they took out a fancy loan and now they're in debt. Most people living in their nice fancy houses are living above their means, which means they're always going to have to work. The king of enslavement would be to have a note, a car note, a house note. God forbid you had to refinance or you have a big loan, a student loan, things like that. These are the ways to keep us in debt. The ways to get us out of debt is not getting a college degree. That's a way to put you into debt. A way to get you out would be understanding a trade. And our trade in particular here in this community is understanding the charts, is understanding the cryptocurrency space, the commodity space, understanding economics as a whole, but understanding we're going to be revolutionizing the framework that this country and this world is run on in the next 3 to 4 years here, actually about 3.5 years now, and all ends are going to meet. When I first started, I said all ends are going to meet in about 7 years. Now it's down to 3.5. Or I said almost 8 years when I started. So it's not about when we're going to be rich. It's about can we stay ahead of the devaluation of our local currency. And I believe we can, but there's steps that we're going to have to take to ensure that this happens. It's not just simply, I'm going to buy XRP, I'm going to buy crypto, I'm going to buy this, that, or the other, and become rich. Remember, we're still buying a single entity. The number one riskiest way to trade is by buying a single stock and or, crypto. Especially crypto, it's a risk asset. But if you do it right, there's no more rewarding space. Just understand 85% of all traders are going to lose. 85% of everybody who trades right now are going to lose. So if there's 100 people watching me right now, and there is 103, that means about 88 of us are not going to make it. So 88 out of 103 of us watching are not going to make it. But we can beat the odds if we all are one brain. So if 103 of us right now are one brain instead of 103 individuals, we can win. You start with the brain of mine and then we move on. It's almost like when you did a brainstorming. So, no, you're not screwed, Frankie Fresh. We're all in it to win it together. I think individually we'd be pretty screwed, but not together. I think we're not. I think we're in a good place. I think we're all here at the right time. But have I not been pushing the last several days about the drop? Not because I want to, because I have to. XRP stranded in no man's land. Barely anybody watched it. XRP danger zone. Barely anybody watched it. The shorts do great. I don't know. The shorts do rather well. The shorts do much better than my regular. But then I said XRP spike, and we talked about the golden cross. And the make it or break it point. We talked about when it was closing the daily, a little bullish here, but we've talked about the reality of it. We talked about the little bit of bullishness when they're there in the minor days. But in the micro, we've got to do some damage here. Like, Ethereum's got to get hot here if we don't want to have this drop. It continuously comes down below this key level. In the weekly, it's trying to finish off a death cross that it's holding off as of right now. But the daily is trying to hold on to a golden cross. So what's going to win out here? Is the daily golden cross going to win out? Or is the close emergence of a weekly death cross going to play out? I almost feel like it's more than likely the death cross, because I believe Ethereum is more than likely going to come down to at least that 2,085 mark to possibly put in what looks like a beautiful inverse right shoulder. Right now it doesn't. It could bounce up and be a bull flag here and just come all the way up to 3,500. But it seems a bit premature. Just like with Bitcoin, it seems a bit premature just to break out here. And I had this drawn out for a while, even before this last run-up happened. But as I've said, the problem is when you start coming down like this, then you have the opportunity that we could break through this. And then if that happens, remember that 64,000 level that worried me for so long? We called 74K perfectly, but remember that 64K on the bounce back around? This was the area that it worried me. If we didn't break free, and now you can see like this is going to be even worse, because if we come down here maybe at the end of July, mid-July, that's 61,900. So we really need this level above to hold for Bitcoin, which it probably will if it's making an inverse head and shoulders. But at some point the cookie crumbles. And I can tell you for a fact, you are not going to want to be in this when the cookie crumbles. Even for the drop down to 90K. You're not going to want to be in it, because the optics say, why would you be in it now if you could save 15 to 30%? And something else that hits me the wrong way is seeing all this volatility. Like MXC today was up as much as 55%, if not more. And now it almost looks like it put in a bearish candle. Like that looks like a gravestone doji. Just got a little excited. And now it almost looks like it wants to rotate back down. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of game they're playing. But what I can make out of this is I feel good about telling everybody yesterday to sell their stuff, or even if they were in data and stuff. And because I felt like it was going to come down, I was sticking to my guns. You can jump in and out all you want. I think I jumped in last night because somebody in the Telegram had some good advice and exactly where it was going and what the resistance was above the micro. So I actually wrote it up. And on the elusive amount that I had, I made $156 on a trade, which some would say, well, you had $5,000 in the position to only make $156. Yeah, but because BITUNIX's fees are so low, I was able to make $156 before it happened to the drop. And it was because of some good TA, not just for myself, but a few in the audience that are in the Telegram. Not yet when I'm working. But thank you though. But you know, that's why I like BITUNIX, because you can literally get in and out. I've been having so much fun just nickel and diamond right now. You know, trying to ride these with these microwaves up and microwaves. It's been pretty fun. It's letting me see a little bit deeper. So I encourage you, it's in the video description below and or pinned comments of this very video. If you're in the comment chat, just click on where it says buy and trade, and you'll see it in my homepage. You can see BITUNIX. Also, I've been putting money, and you see BLOFIN exchange. I highly encourage that for XDC and IOTA. Although now you can do XDC on BITUNIX, so you don't have to worry about it. But you can buy IOTA spot on BLOFIN. And they also have on BLOFIN, which I think is cool. We're not talking about leverage trading. If you want to do that, that's on you. But they have it to where you can take it off, and your funds don't have to be on the exchange. So you kind of put it away into the funding. So even if you, let's say you hold Algo or IOTA, you put it into funding, and then it's not even held on the exchange. It's held in your own personal account. So that's a pretty smooth way they do that. So I would encourage you to take a look at BLOFIN too. Those are the two that, if it was up to me, those are the two that I feel the most comfortable with. I wish that one of the two BITUNIX and or BLOFIN had DGB, so I wouldn't have to worry about LBank. But it is what it is, and we deal with what we have to. So just take serious consideration into it and to what I say about those. Real quick, gold had a nice little rebound. We talked about it yesterday. The mining stocks were calling bullshit on the drop. So gold was up $18.54 an ounce, or just over 0.5% to $3,371.89. It looks like we're going to close at about $33.70 plus here in the next half hour. 6 o'clock is when it flips over for gold and silver. Barrett gold was up 0.25% to $20.14. B2 gold was up 2.23% to $3.67. Silver finished just about even, up 0.0016 cent to $34.48. Pan America silver was up 1.25% during the day to $26.59. I don't really worry about after hours. First Majestic was up 3.26% on the day, up to $7.28 now. Holy crap. Just a week and some odd days ago, it was at $5.42 when we picked it back up. Fortuna Silver Mine's up to $6.74. A week and a half ago, it was at like $5.25. B2 Gold was at $2.82. Pan America Silver was down under 22, and Barrett was at like 17 just about a week and a half ago. They had one fair dump. One last one. But now, if we want to hold here for cryptocurrency, we need to get this next wave up pretty quickly. We need to just get some volume. We need to start pushing up. XRP would have to get past, in my opinion, to start feeling comfortable would be 265. But we got these micro levels. We got 229, which is the first level. Then we got 242. Then you can talk to 252 or whatever. But the way I look at it is 229 to 242 to 265. Anything else, you're kind of just bouncing in between levels. Let's see. Grant, welcome in. Chad Somerfield, good evening. Let's see who else. Nader, good evening, says drop, 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 please. Yes, indeed. Nader Lang, Band and Queen of Flame is what he says. Sir Smokes a lot, thank you so much for the 6+ months with the XP Predictor. If we lock on as a team like we have been on the data charting and do that across the board, we will do great. Absolutely. Absolutely, Sir Smokes a lot. I could not agree more. Could not agree more. I need more XRP drop. Yes, indeed. Learning everything from you, Tom. I learned everything from you, Tom. I do my best. That's why I come here every day. I see a very dedicated group we have. That's why I think the website's going to be so awesome. It's just going to bring everything even closer together. And then you'll be able to bookmark it. I'm not charging anything for the website. You just come in freely. But I think it's a good way to keep us all together. Especially if something happens on YouTube. A lot of people, some of the famous, more highly touted YouTubers are being banned on YouTube. So we'll see what happens. Ryan York, good evening. Craw Billy's, good evening. Wow, Craw Billy's, I'm glad to see you still in here, homie. You were in here during the last bear market, and it was pretty fun while we were coming out of that together. Awesome. Joseph Euler and Aaron R. welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Good evening to you, Joseph. And Aaron says, finally got BITUNIX. So smooth. Oh my God, dude. Like that, I can't explain it enough to people, the difference it's changed my life with it. I can't even explain it. To go from having fees on all these damn exchanges, and that includes Crypto.com and Binance and Coinbase and Uphold and all the other ones alike, It's crazy. It's XRPfuturemillionaire.com. It's almost ready. The team that I have working on it is the graphic designers are almost done. We're going through the final stages, but I had an idea that they have to implement here. My idea was to where I can go live at any time on the website. So now I'm going to be able to put my content in a live setting. So if you're on the website, I could go live there and not even have to use YouTube and not have to do anything else. But for now, you know, I'll always have the content on YouTube. But if they ever ban me, then it would be a way to just do it through the website. So then if you guys are watching me and you're fans, you'll be able to always watch no matter what. So, and I've already secured that for 5 years with hosting through a dedicated server. So that's exactly it, Crypto Cooter. You just said it. Crypto Cooter says I got in and out of data at least 6 times today and fees were basically non-existent. BITUNIX is the cat's pajamas. You better freaking believe it. And most people, if you watch people, they're not going to promote BITUNIX. They want to promote the exchanges that take the highest fees because then they're going to make the most. Especially if they become partnered with an exchange. And I'm not partnered, but you get the picture. So I'm pushing one with the lowest freaking fees because it works for me. Not because anybody's telling me to do it, but it works for me. And I've been in data probably in the last 24 hours, at least 4 separate times. Not lost, plus minus is like $71 gained. And all of these trades, some wins, some losses, but they're not wins or losses. I'm just trying to watch it and I'm very like, you know, spaz-like. But the fees, because they're non-existent, it's like I can trade $5,000 and have a $2 fee or $5 fee, as to where, you know, trading on crypto.com, that would cost me like $400 or $500. So it makes it impossible. It's so much different. Can you show how to get a stop loss take profit on BITUNIX, please? I'm not signed in on my BITUNIX account right now. I mean, I will show it on my next live, but I'm not logged in, and I don't really want to go down the portfolio route today, but the stop loss and take profit, I mean, it's going to be hard for me to explain it without having it up. But I don't even have my phone next to me, so I won't be able to do the verification to get me in it. My phone was dead, so I had to charge it when we started. But I promise on my next live, I'll do it. I'll make sure that I do this on the next live. The amount of fees I pay in coin. Yes, see, I've seen a lot of people complain about Coinbase recently. That's why I said Coinbase. My suggestion to everybody, you can see it in the video description below and or pinned comments, or just go to my YouTube page. Please stop with the fees, everybody. Download BITUNIX. And at least, even if you don't have BITUNIX, or if you have BITUNIX and you're like, well, I wish I could get IOTA as well, download BLOFIN for the ones that BITUNIX doesn't have, that they have, because those fees are basically the same, practically zero. They're just higher leverage fees, but we're looking at this for spot, so it's practically zero. It's not as low, but it's close, and for IOTA, it gets the job done, even though you can do it in the futures. But if you want to be able to move IOTA off the exchange and somewhere else, you're going to have to do it through another exchange. But for all intents and purposes with BITUNIX, you're not paying these fees. Like if I'm doing a trade and I don't have to worry about paying a 3 to 5% fee in and out, I can swing trade. I can get in and out of a position at will. Like right now, Ethereum's doing us some grace. It's doing us a grace right now. We need Ethereum to break out of this flag setting. Instead of rotating down and putting in that structure, what we need Ethereum to do is we need this to play out like a bull flag and push us up into the next stratosphere. That's what we need. We need this to not play down like this. We need it to play up like this. And then start flagging out again. And then come up and start flagging out again. And come up. So we need it to break up and start doing something like that instead of breaking down. And we can do it. You know, it can happen very easily. We're just trying to avoid this drop here. We pay attention to it because we know it's there, but we also are aware that we are in a big inverse head and shoulders. We have a golden cross in the daily that's trying to invalidate what looked like could be a potential death cross in the weekly. So I think we still have, you know, a very real shot of breaking out of here. That's why I keep watching with data. I keep watching with Filecoin. I keep watching with XCN. The one thing that I will tell everybody is I'm pissed off at myself for not doing this, but I sent $5,000 back to crypto.com. No, $4,000. And just in case for something like MXC next time, I'm not going to let it stop me from buying it the next time if we had a big correction. Because I was on here yesterday saying if it wasn't for fucking being on crypto.com, I'm not giving them the fees anymore. I'm not going to pay them to make money. How stupid was that? I could have put the $5,000 I wanted to, been up 50% today, paid them their measly $300 or $400 in fees, and cleared about $2,000. So by being emotional, I lost $2,000 today. Now I'm just being straight up with everybody. I lost $2,000 because I was emotional and didn't want to use crypto.com because I knew there was fees. But then again, the other thing I thought about was how many times by using crypto.com and not being able to sell the micro drop because of how high the fees were to get back in, that I sit through something and end up making bigger gains because I didn't sell out initially. So I started to weigh it against each other and I said, you know what? I can't do it with my whole portfolio, but if it's jumping in and out of something like MXC or something that's impossible to get anywhere else, okay, well, I'll do it. But it's going to have to be something special because we had this move nailed to the wall yesterday. And I kept saying if it wasn't for fucking being on there, I would buy it. And look what happened. It bit us in the ass because we're being emotional. Came down to that 2-2 level fucking perfectly. And then it pushed up. And now we're getting that retest of the breakup below. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Frankie Fresh said it's the best move I ever made joining BITUNIX. You and me both, my friend. You and me both. I just wish more people knew about it. I really do. Anytime I try it, doesn't lock the price in. No rush, Tom. Just trying to figure it out. If you guys notice, when I was on BITUNIX, I would do it a little bit higher than the exact price. Because you got to get, one, you got to be in your part of the rotation for everybody who's putting in limit orders. Two, you got to find the right volatility in the moment. So you've seen me yesterday when I bought, for example, when I bought data on BITUNIX, and then I ended up selling it for a small profit, but that's to be, but when it was at 14.4 whatever, you seen yesterday, and some people are like, well, Tom, I like to nickel and dime, I like to do this and that. I put it at 14.47 when it was at 14.41, and then I ended up moving it to 14.49. Even though the limit price said I could get it as low as 14.41, I took 14.49 because that, even though it wasn't the bottom price, it was still what the sell orders were on the screen. And sometimes you're not going to get the lowest one. I have it at times where I can fill it to the bottom number, and because there's a high amount of liquidity for the sellers, when I'm trying to buy, it fills right away. Sometimes it'll fill, but you got to wait a minute for the price to come through your area and the limit. So that's something you have to be aware of too. But let's see. I'm referring to the stop loss. Sorry, not buying or selling. When I do the leverage trading, I've had my stop losses work pretty efficiently. So I would have to see. Are you talking about the futures or spot stop losses? I don't put stop losses in spots, so that could be an issue. I've had to chase prices to modify frequently, nickel and diming. Interesting. So the stop loss. I'll have to look more into that. I don't use a stop loss very often, but yeah, see, I never use it in spot. Okay. So I don't know about it in spot. I know in the leverage it was pretty solid. But I don't usually use, I never use, because I always am selling it myself. You know, I'm looking at it in the moment. But I'll have to look at that, Crypto Cooter. I'll look at that and I'll try to figure it out. I'll mess with a few buy orders. And then I'll just put limit sells below on the stop loss, you know. Or I'll put take profit above just so I can see how it works. Right now, while we're together, I know it's been almost 40 minutes. And I appreciate everybody listening to me talk. But this could be potentially falling out of this little channel we were in, which is technically almost like a bear flag. And I put this downtrending resistance here as well so you could see how the pattern was converging. Even though we're in a rising channel. More worried about at night during bed. Absolutely, I get that, Crypto Cooter. I get that because when we're sleeping, the only defense we have is what we put in the, you know, as far as from a limit or a stop loss or a order purchase or close. TT, you can come over here, buddy. Yeah, you want to come over here? Come here. You come hang out. Yeah, you come hang out. You can go play over there too, buddy. You looking for a snacky? Here, I'm gonna go help my son find a snack real quick. Come here, buddy. You looking for something? Yeah, come here. Are you looking for something? Which one you want? You want one of these? You want these? Is this what you're looking for? I'll go get you. I got you. Yeah. I love you. Somebody walk out this truck. Almost done. What do you want? Somebody want? What's that brother? He actually grabbed it. Julie? You want a Yeti? We'll just have to go over here. Oh, here, let me grab this. And if anybody wants to relax, me and Julie are going to relax. You can join us. Exactly. That's my only concern is a midnight crash. I understand that, Crypto Cooter. I absolutely understand that. Anyone unable to log into Uphold. I don't have Uphold anymore, but is there anybody who can help this, who said this? Albedo. Can anybody help Albedo? Let me take a look at Uphold status real quick. Uphold status. Trading for LAI temporarily suspended. What the hell does that mean? Looks like a lot of stuff is operational. Unresolved incidents. Trading for LAI temporarily suspended. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of issues, but God only knows. Let's see if there's any news. You know, we do have to see the looming ECB. So the ECB, they're going to be discussing rates. That's European Central Bank. And I think that's in the morning. Is almost guaranteed to cut rates. Here's what could happen. So, I mean, if they cut the rates again, eventually the U.S. is going to do it. And once they do it, it's going to be good for risk assets. You know, and that'll probably come at the same time like the big beautiful bill passed, even though it's the big not so beautiful bill. Julie, can I say a lighter? Oh no, I have one. I do. So I think the US will probably cut it 75 basis points in Q3 though. We're not there yet. That gets us closer to October area. September, October. I don't know if we'll do it in June. It might still be early. The Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being in Town's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor, says, I logged into Uphold fine. Beautiful. Nickel Trickin says he's able to. Moza here says the mobile app is okay. Okay, good. At least you guys are able to. I've not been able to log in since 10 a.m. Ooh. I hope there's nothing that they're trying to do to your account. I've been there with Julie's account when they unceremoniously made her get rid of it, and they wouldn't give her a little bit of tokens back that she couldn't get out.
Still sitting there.
1,000 XRP still sitting in limbo for Julie. No joke. Yep, since February of 2024. She was able to get out 90% of her stuff, but not that part of the XRP. So yeah, it's a shitty story. But yeah, the ECB, we're expecting a rate cut again. Let's see if there's any news that we need to know about for XRP here as we wind this down. Because you guys see my son wants attention too, so. I came on when I could today. I knew it was going to be a tricky day because of how my son was acting. So I came on when I could. We're doing some time. A classic 95-year-old theory suggests XRP price could surge soon. Is this what we're holding on to now? So XRP prices remain in a prolonged consolidation this year despite numerous positive developments in its ecosystem. Ripple was trading at $2.30 on Wednesday, up 40% from its lowest point this year and 33% below its January high. XRP has had several catalysts this year. First, the odds that the Securities and Exchange Commission will approve XRP exchange-traded funds later this year have jumped to a record high of 98%. An XRP exchange-traded fund could be approved as soon as the SEC completes its review of Franklin Templeton's fund this month. However, more likely scenario is a delay in approval as it continues to review other filings. Companies have started adding XRP to their treasuries, emulating MicroStrategy's approach. Vivo Power raised $121 million, while Weebus, a Chinese company, raised $300 million. Hyperscale Data plans to buy XRP tokens worth over $10 million. More companies may follow this trend by adding XRP tokens to their balance sheets. Is there water over there, Julie? Beautiful. Thank you. The SEC recently withdrew its appeal against Ripple, a move that could make it easier to secure deals with major U.S. banks. Partnerships are key to RippleNet's growth as it aims to compete with Swift. Sorry, I was adding water to my other piece of ice I had. All right. Ripple USD, its stablecoin, has gained MiCA compliance in Europe and received a license in Dubai this week. It aims to become a major player in the stablecoin industry that is estimated to be worth over $1.6 trillion by 2030. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange, a giant financial services company, recently listed XRP futures contracts, and data shows that it is gaining traction among Wall Street investors. The XRP price technical analysis, we're converging right now big time. The wick-off method Ethereum proposed over 95 years ago suggests that XRP price is on the cusp of a significant rally in the coming weeks or months. The theory outlines 4 stages that assets move through: accumulation, markup, distribution, and markdown. XRP has now entered accumulation phase, characterized by low volume and low volatility. The average true range, a popular indicator for measuring volatility, has dropped to its lowest level since November of last year. Additionally, the volume indicator has been in a strong downward trend, with the accumulation distribution line has trended upward. Therefore, it is likely the coin will soon move up or move into the market or markup phase, which is marked by higher demand than supply. This outlook is further supported by the formation of a bullish pennant pattern with its 2-year trend lines nearing convergence. A bullish breakout could initially push the price to this year's high of $3.3585 before it moved to $5. So pretty interesting. But I'm gonna wrap this up here. I appreciate everybody watching. My son, he's ready to come out here, I think. He's ready for me to be done. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the over 43,200 subscribers. As we continue to get squeezed here on YouTube, and it becomes harder and harder to get our name out there, even though people are subscribing, it gets shadow banned a lot. So please join the Telegram. You know, please make sure to at least put it at bookmark xrpfuturemillionaire.com for in the next 4 to 5 days at the latest. The website will be up and running. I've been working on it for about 5 weeks now, and I put a lot of time into it and a lot of effort and some funds, and it's going to be something special. Crypto Scrooge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. Yes, indeed. So, I hope everybody does have a blessed night. I really, really do. I really, really, really do. If we look at some of these IoT tokens, IOTA's at 93, Helium's at 101, IOTX is at 200, Digibyte's at 263. Let's see. Data's at 899, Moonchain's at 994. One of my favorite ones that I can't figure out a way to buy is, where's it at? Data Highway's a really one of them that I like, but no way to really find it. And it was up, had a nice little move here today. So there's been some of these IoT tokens that are starting to make a little bit of waves here. Ion XT is something that I think in the future could be something of value. There's not very many tokens though. Where was the other one? It was very cheap. Oh, rough. It's ranked right now 2,642. There's 980.5 million rough tokens. Last 7 days it's up 12%. It's at 0001. But very hard to find that token. So with that being said, last thing would be if you're looking at XRP, if we're trying to break bullish, we've got to get over $2.29 would be the first signal. First signal would be to get over $2.29 and start pushing up bullishly. Otherwise, a bearish signal would be if we lose that well, we're already in a bearish signal slightly. But for confirmation is if we fall below $2.15, it could be a problem. Let me put it right on the X marks the spot. 215.5. We do have an engulfing candle to the downside in the 4 hourly with a new low made. So that's never a good sign. We're going to need some pressure here if we don't want to keep falling down. We need some buying pressure. Like, we really need it in a hurry. So that's Hulk sold out to Caleb and Brown. I hate to break it to you, friend, but Hulk sold out a long time ago. But yeah, you're seeing that a lot. Caleb and Brown bought off a lot of the social media influencers. They tried to buy me off too, FYI. Julie knows. Remember Caleb and Brown when they wanted to call? And they wanted me to start promoting their stuff? Because they wanted people to use the brokerage? Hey, I get approached by all these people too. They were sleazy. I even told Julie I could never promote their sleaze balls. Yeah, I don't know. Nah, it is what it is. I don't really worry about all of them. I just do my thing, and I tell you to use BITUNIX because it's changed my life. I'm not doing it because they're promoting me. I'm doing it because I believe it. And everybody who's used it knows why I'm saying it now. You know, it's not a joke anymore. I think a lot of people were like, he's got to be out of his mind. There's no way it's that much better fee-wise. It is, though. I mean, I can't even say it enough. I could scream it from the rooftops. But anyhow, our gatekeeper right now is Ethereum. Can Ethereum just get over this level? Please. Like, I don't want this to drop. FYI, I do not want the drop. I would prefer for it to go up. We could have a moment here. We really, really could have a moment. That's why my profile pic. I didn't even realize that. Digital asset investor. That's how it's been since. That's how he's been since 2021. That was my whole thing. It's like you're getting 5 minutes of info, but 45 fucking minutes of ads. But that's not my place. You know, that's not my place. Crypto Cooter said, I thought you were out of your mind until I joined. Then I saw the line. I know. And that's what always happens. So I get my validation when people join BitUnix because then they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's so cheap. And if it's ever not so cheap, I'm not going to use it. You know, if something's wrong, I'm not going to use it. But as long as they keep it real, I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to use it forever because it's saved me a shitload of money. Like a lot of money. I'm telling you, it kills me because I don't know if any of you remember, like with MXC, how we had to pay 3 to 5, even up to 10 to 12% in high times of volatility. If MXC was just on BitUnix, it would have saved me, you know, it cost me like $1,800 when it was all said and done in the fees. Even though I made about $7,000 free and clear, it still, I could have made almost $9,000. That was what pissed me off. Not saying that I'm ungrateful for a $7,000 profit in a couple days, but when I know it should have been closer to $9,000, it's hard to sleep a little bit. But at the same time, I'm also an idiot because I let my emotion dictate that feeling. So instead of being able to sell it and then buy it back exactly where we targeted at that 2.2 level, because I was stubborn and said, I'm not giving it to that fucking exchange. They're not taking my hard-earned money. I just cost myself, even in the moment, 36% from last night because we said at 2.2, this is the spot we should be buying it if it wasn't on Crypto.com. I won't make that mistake again. I'll take the easy money. So if we would have put $5,000 on it, we'd be up, you know, at the peak today, 2,500. Right now, a good 1,600. God forbid I got to give them $300, right? On a $1,400 gain. Up now, it's up 40%. See what I'm saying? So God forbid I have to give them on $2,000, you know, $400. At least I'm making $1,600. That's $1,600 I don't have now because I'm stubborn. Sometimes that's just the tax you got to pay for that's the convenience tax in this case. That would be the convenience tax. They have an asset I want. They know that not many people have them, and now I got to pay the convenience tax. But have a good night. My son's out here.